Hey everyone, thanks for joining me for Wow Me Wednesday, and a happy Thanksgiving to you and your families. Now I know most of you probably have time off work, but I wanted to make sure to still give you my Wow Me Wednesday tips on how to communicate with confidence. Today is part 4 of my tips on job interviews, how to knock your interviewers out of the park and ace your job interview. Today we're going to tackle one of the, if not the most common question in job interviews, and oftentimes one of the most difficult. Tell me about yourself. Dude, where do you start, right? You could go on for hours and hours, but you don't want to go on for hours. You don't even want to go on for minutes. I challenge you to try to keep your answer at 1 minute. You don't want to go on and on because you will have the rest of the interview to share about your qualities and your areas of expertise. But you want to focus on qualities about yourself, both in your personal and professional life, that help accentuate your qualities that are most relevant to the job that you're applying for. So to help build rapport with your interviewers, start off with 2 or 3 sentences about yourself outside of your work life. So you could start by saying, I've been an engineer for 15 years, but I'm also proud of my role as a mother or as a father. Or like in my case, I've been in marketing communications for 8 years now, but I also am proud of my role as a blank. You could say as a volunteer for your church. You could talk about your hobbies. If you enjoy working out, then you could talk about how you enjoy running marathons or taking TRX classes. Whatever qualities you talk about, your hobbies, your interests, your volunteer work, think about how those qualities, the attributes that you have, can be helpful in the job that you are applying for. So for instance, if you are a volunteer at church, it shows that you're selfless and most likely that you are a team player. Maybe you are a youth group minister, so it shows that you're good at leading groups, right? If you like to work out, then it shows that you pay attention to your health and your well-being. If you like to knit, maybe you're an artist, it shows that you're creative and innovative. So think about those qualities that can, again, highlight. Think about the interests and hobbies that can highlight your personal attributes that relate to the job you're applying for. And again, keep that at 2 to 3 sentences, just as an introduction about yourself to build that camaraderie and to show your personality. Then you transition into the professional life and your professional qualities and interests. So to do that, you could say a line like, in addition to my hobbies and interests, my professional life is also really important to me, or my career is also a big part of who I am. So that's how you can transition. And then you can talk about 3 to 4 qualities or skills that are related to the job that you're applying for. And if you want to focus on or introduce some of your strengths, you can look back on my video from November 8th, because I address the interview question of your strengths and weaknesses. But instead of going into really into a lot of details and examples, specific examples and scenarios about those strengths, here in this tell me about yourself question is just an introduction. So you could talk about your qualities of being a hard worker, you're ethical, how you are a good inspirational leader, and that sort of thing. And then maybe one other sentence that supports that. You could also talk about how the different jobs that you have had have helped mold you into who you are today. And that's probably the approach I would take based on my career. When I graduated from college, I moved on to Midland, Texas for my first TV reporting job, where I really got to learn about who I am. I got to learn, I was a rookie reporter, and I got to make some mistakes, and I grew from many of those mistakes, from freezing on air to becoming an award-winning storyteller. So you can show your growth through different examples of throughout your career at different workplaces. But again, don't start from the very beginning of like your babysitting job or your job at Togo's. Now, only highlight the jobs that are related to this position that you're interviewing for now. You do not, for this answer to this question, you do not want to rattle off your resume because the interviewers have that in front of them. But you want to really show your personality and offer an introduction to who you are. An anecdote I want to share with you about how important it is to show your personality is I was interviewing for a job as an outreach representative at Academy of Art University in San Francisco, and I had to do a presentation. I was very polished. I had everything prepared. And the very final question was, what do you like to do for fun? And I talked about how I love hip hop dancing. And I've done it throughout my teenage and college years, and I continue to do it on the side, just taking classes for fun and for fitness. And my boss later on told me, after I was hired, that that was what convinced her to hire me, of all things. She knew that I could do the job, I could present, I could recruit students, but would I fit in well with the team? And so when she found out that I was a dancer, which she is too, and many of the people on the team were and like to have fun, it showed that I could fit in well with the team. I was a good fit for the culture of the department. And later I found out that we travel a lot and we do hang out outside of work a lot. So it was really important that I meshed well, personality-wise, with my coworkers. So to wrap up the answer to tell me about yourself, you could say something about how you are excited for this opportunity to interview with them and to have a possibility of working at this new job where you'll be challenged and you'll be able to grow even further. It's something that talks about how you are looking forward to a new challenge in your career and that you would like to share and you hope to have more opportunities to share more about your qualities throughout the interview today. So I hope that was helpful for you all. If you have a job interview coming up, feel free to comment, give me your suggestions and your questions below this video, and feel free to email me. I'd love to hear from you at jessica@jessicachangconsulting.com. Thanks everyone. Have a great Thanksgiving weekend, and I'll see you next week.